Hello everybody, welcome to this tutorial where we will build our first theme network. Our theme network for these essential questions. Why do people enjoy being part of groups, and is independence or group membership more important? For all of our texts, our core texts relating to these essential questions, we will build a theme network. What is a theme network? Let's see. Instructions. Identify common message sent by all texts. Then, identify common supporting evidence in each text that helps to send the common message. Then, explain how evidence conveys this common message sent by all three texts. Let me show you what this looks like. Now, down here in your theme network, way at the top, you see common message sent. Now this is where you identify the message sent by Revenge of the Geeks, The Metamorphosis, and encountering the other. Now, one common message that you might use yourself if you like, as long as you reword it a bit, reword it, do not use word for word what I wrote, because that doesn't really show your learning. One common message that I identified is that human beings are generally better off when accepting others and being accepted, warts and all. Warts and all means even with our flaws. So human beings are generally better off when we are still accepted even if we have warts all over our face, right? This is an old saying. And it basically means, like, if you accept someone warts and all, that means you acknowledge this person is either different or somehow flawed, but you accept them. Anyways, this is the common message, one common message sent by all three texts. Then we'll identify a quote in Revenge of the Geeks the author uses to convey this common message. So let me show you a quote I found in Revenge of the Geeks that conveys this message. I found a quote that says, "And for teenagers, says La Fontana, who studies adolescent peer relationships and social status, the worst thing in the world is to be different from other people. That's what makes someone unpopular." Now, how does this quote prove that human beings are generally better off when accepting others and being accepted? Well, in my reasoning, I explained in my own words that when La Fontana states that teenagers consider unpopularity to be the worst thing in the world, and I refer to the text up here, that's what you're supposed to do. It makes my writing more precise when I refer to specific language in the quote. When La Fontana states that teenagers consider unpopularity to be the worst thing in the world, she demonstrates that being an outcast damages teenagers' well-being. Because isolation harms people's well-being, we can infer that togetherness and connection enhance people's well-being. Just as she convinces us that others are better off when accepted by a community, the author inspires readers to empathize with outcasts and accept others ourselves. So, in other words, in this quote, the author explains that teenagers feel like it's the worst thing ever to be rejected by others. We can logically infer that if being unpopular or rejected by others is the worst thing ever, it must make us feel good to be accepted by people. Right? So that is how this quote is used to support this common message that human beings are generally better off when accepted by others. Now, in the Metamorphosis, we see a similar common message. We we see the same common message sent. So what I would do now is go down to the metamorphosis, and if you click here, well, I've made this hyperlink to the whole text. You click on that, you get the metamorphosis. And then actively read through the metamorphosis, actively read, searching for where this common message is sent. And then insert your quote here, explain in your own words how this quote proves, or how this quote sends this common message. And lastly, the same thing for encountering the other. I've hyperlinked parts 1, 2, and 3 down here. So include a quote after actively reading through encountering the other, searching as you read for a quote that sends this common message. Include the quote here, and then in reasoning in your own words, explain how this quote in encountering the other sends this common message. For your reasoning, I have given you a few sentence starters. I am putting them up here and not down in this box because I want you all to get to a point where you don't need sentence starters, right? So let's wean off of them, but they're here if you'd like to use them. You might start your reasoning by saying, this evidence demonstrates that, this quote is used to support, or this fact is used in support of. And you would explain how each piece of textual evidence you include helps to send a common message. And as we create this theme network, we are mastering the learning goal, two learning goals really, making inferences based on informational text we read, and making inferences based on literature we read, inferences that are supported logically by textual evidence. And that's exactly what you're doing. You are making logical inferences about these three texts that are supported by textual evidence. Oh, and by the way, you cannot copy word for word what I put for the reasoning here, because that does not show your learning. If you would like to paraphrase it, that's fine. That's fine. But can you copy word for word what I wrote for the reasoning here? No, that doesn't show that you learned anything. That shows that you can copy word for word what's on my screen. Okay. Message me with questions on Schoology, and I look forward to seeing what you turn in.